I want you to know that it is so possible to eat in alignment with your ethics and also feel incredible. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Danielle. I've been vegan for 10 years and I am a nutrition coach. So in the past decade, I've had a lot of conversations with people who said they tried to go vegan, they wanted to go vegan because of their ethical reasons, but they gave up a few months in because something was off. And I see a lot of patterns with these cases. There are some very specific reasons why people fail at veganism. So today I'm gonna go over them and I wanna share some ways to fix them if they are happening to you. My best tip comes near the end of the video, so make sure you watch until then. So first, let's lay some ground rules and kind of define what a mistake is, because the last thing that I want is for you to feel like shamey or bad. This video is meant to help you and not to critique you. So for the purposes of this video, a mistake is anything that you're doing that makes you feel suboptimal. It doesn't make you feel really vital or the way that you want to feel. Now, the best part of all these mistakes is that you can fix them pretty easily. So mistake number one is not eating enough. In your quest to be vegan, you might be cutting things out and not replacing them. So let's say before you went vegan, you had a protein, a fat, and a carb at every meal. Let's say you had chicken with guac and rice. Now, when you go plant-based, you might be cutting out the animal product. You might be cutting out that chicken, that protein, but are you replacing it? If you're not, this means you're not getting enough calories to function adequately. Your body needs protein in order to build new structures, to gain muscle if you're active, etc. Despite what a lot of people will tell you, peanut butter is not a great source of protein. So if that's your protein source, you need a little bit more. So instead of cutting out your protein completely, you need to be replacing it with a high quality plant-based protein source. Now this could be tempeh, seitan, TVP, or even a high protein bean like lupini beans or edamame. And you can even use a protein powder supplement if protein powder is something you enjoy. I like it for the convenience factor, and I just kind of like chocolate or like milkshake vibe. The bottom line here really is, if you don't have a weight loss goal, you need to be getting the same amount of calories that you were getting before you tried to go vegan. Mistake number two is not supplementing when you need it. Animal foods are fortified with things like B12 and vitamin D. And if you are not consuming plant-based foods that are also fortified with these vitamins, then you are missing out on some key nutrients. So people love to talk shit on how vegans don't get B12, but here's the thing about B12. It comes from soil microbes, and we used to actually get it by eating dirty vegetables before our food system became more industrialized. Now, farm animals are supplemented with B12, which is why people get B12 from animal products. So when you supplement with B12 as a vegan, you're just taking out that little animal middleman. Now, nutritional yeast is usually fortified with B12. I take a multivitamin that includes B12, just like a lot of non-vegans take multivitamins. It's a really great way to make sure that all your bases are covered. Vitamin D is also something that a lot of animal foods are fortified with. I have an almond milk from Target in my fridge that's fortified with vitamin D, and I also do get it from my multivitamin as well. Iron is another thing that you might need to supplement with if you're not getting a wide array of veggies in your diet. But just to give you some perspective, a cooked cup of leafy greens like kale or spinach can contain up to 5 milligrams of iron, which is over half of your daily recommended intake. Other foods that contain iron are sweet potatoes, raisins, beans. There's a ton. You can literally just Google it. So going back to number one, if you're eating enough plants, enough diverse plants, you don't really need to worry about this stuff. But again, you can take a multivitamin just to give yourself some insurance, just to cover your bases. And just some anecdotal evidence, I get my blood tested every year by my doctor at my physical. He always says my results are terrific. So get your blood tested. Mistake number 3 is one that's really come up over the past few years, and that is eating too much processed food. That goes for both vegans and omnivores. If your diet is full of processed food, you're gonna feel like crap. And there are so many incredible vegan alternatives on the market right now. We have Just Egg, we have mayo, we have different cheeses, we have Impossible Burgers, we have Beyond Burgers. Anything you can eat, I can eat vegan. It's really come true over the past, I would say, 5 to 6 years. And I love these alternatives. I really think that they have their place. I think they're great stepping stones for people who want to eat more compassionately, and they really prove that you can be vegan without just eating grass. And on top of having all these really awesome vegan alternatives, there are a lot of accidentally vegan products like baking mixes, there's Swedish fish, Oreo, potato chips. So many junk food items are accidentally vegan. And all of these things have their place. I like to have an Oreo every so often. Maybe I'll have 3. But the time and place is not every day, multiple times a day. So if you find yourself eating too much processed food, my advice is to take it out a little bit at a time and replace it with something else. So 3 p.m. if you're reaching for chips, carrots and hummus. Slightly less processed, actually a lot less processed. I had a client who was eating processed meat at every dinner, Beyond Meat, Impossible, chicken strips, things like that. But we found some really great plant protein alternatives that were less processed, and she just started slowly replacing that processed faux meat every night at dinner, and it worked really well for her. So using that strategy, you can kind of just focus on one meal at a time. Mistake number 4 is not preparing before a social event that you might not be able to eat at. And look, social functions are a part of life. You should not be staying home just because you don't think you can eat at a wedding. We need to connect with people, especially after the past few years that we have had. I think that we have realized the real importance of connection, even people who identify as more introverted. So most of the time you're gonna have to prepare for an event you're going to, especially if there's alcohol there, because your inhibitions are gonna be lowered quite a bit. Before the event, you can ask the host if there's gonna be a vegan option. I mean, it's 2022. A lot of people are thinking about plant-based options at their weddings or at their parties, so could very well be a vegan option there. But sometimes it's a no, so you wanna make your own food. You can bring your own food in a Tupperware in your little bag, or you can eat beforehand. 9 years ago, I went to a wedding and I had a Larabar instead of wedding cake, and I honestly didn't mind because I managed my own expectations, and I eat cake other days of the year, but I really like Larabars. It was a very convenient alternative for me. If it's not a wedding or a party, if you're going to a restaurant with friends, you can look at the menu beforehand. You can see if they have a vegan option, or this is my personal favorite, you can cobble together a bunch of different appetizers and make a whole meal out of it, and people usually get jealous because they want that variety too. So really the bottom line here is, don't be afraid to advocate for yourself in these social situations, and don't let your people-pleasing tendencies get the best of you. You're living your own life, and you should not live your life in order to make other people feel more comfortable. The right people are gonna understand this. They're gonna respect your choices and your right to your own bodily autonomy. I want you to know that it is so possible to eat in alignment with your ethics and also feel incredible. Don't feel like you are going to feel bad for the rest of your life just because you're not choosing animal products. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments what else you want to see, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.